It is the 6th minute in Budapest. Kai Havertz scores. Arsenal fans are screaming, thinking the 20-year European curse is finally dead. But instead of stepping on the throat of Paris Saint-Germain, Arsenal built a fortress and locked themselves inside, and PSG just started throwing bombs at the walls. People think Arsenal were unlucky to lose on penalties, but the stats tell a completely different horror story. PSG had 140 final third passes. Arsenal had a pathetic 18, so this breakdown is not about a missed penalty kick. It is a brutal look at how Arsenal abandoned their entire identity and let PSG play target practice for over 100 minutes. Let me break down the exact tactical mistakes Mikel Arteta made and how the PSG midfield slowly choked the life out of Arsenal. Arsenal reached this final by playing beautiful, dominant football. They usually suffocate teams with perfectly structured pressing. Therefore, when Havertz scored that early goal, everyone thought Arsenal would just dictate the rest of the match and lift the trophy, but they did the exact opposite. They panicked. Instead of pushing for a second killer goal to end the game, Arsenal dropped incredibly deep. They abandoned their high press. They invited Paris Saint-Germain to take the ball and decided to just defend their penalty box. And you absolutely cannot give a Luis Enrique team that much time and space without paying a massive price. Almost every football analyst points back to one huge problem. PSG had complete control of possession. We are not just saying they played well. The numbers are completely terrifying. PSG held 75% possession. They completed 475 passes with almost 90% accuracy. Arsenal only completed 132 passes. But it gets worse. PSG fired 19 total shots, while Arsenal only managed 4. After the 6th minute, Arsenal did not record a single shot on target for the rest of the match. Not one single shot on target. A team that scored 29 goals in their Champions League campaign was reduced to absolutely nothing. Arsenal spent huge periods of the game just desperately defending their own box. They were forced to play PSG's game, and it completely destroyed their rhythm. At the absolute center of this tactical massacre was one player, Vitinia. He was the most influential player on the pitch. Whenever PSG needed to calm things down, they found Vitinia. Whenever Arsenal actually tried to press high, the ball magically escaped right into his feet. Partnered with Fabian Ruiz and João Neves, they completely overloaded the center of the pitch. Declan Rice and Martin Odegaard were left chasing shadows. Vitinha dictated the speed of every single attack. He constantly offered a SIF passing option and switched the play perfectly. Arsenal simply never figured out how to stop the brain of the PSG operation. This brings us to the biggest tactical storyline of the night. Arteta had a plan, but Enrique had all the answers. When Arsenal tried to build out from the back, PSG pressed them perfectly. They forced Arsenal into rush passes and long, desperate clearances. Because Arsenal could not pass through the midfield, they kept skipping phases entirely. That meant less control, less possession, and way more defending. Every time Arsenal kicked it long, PSG won the ball back and started another wave of attacks. And when it came to substitutions, Enrique outclassed Arteta again. Enrique brought on elite fresh attackers to keep the pressure high, while Arteta made conservative changes that killed any chance of an Arsenal counterattack. You can only defend a terrifying attack for so long before your legs stop working, and fatigue played a massive role here. Across the season, Arsenal relied heavily on their core players to win the Premier League. PSG rotated their squad all year. In fact, the PSG starting 11 had the equivalent of over 60 fewer matches of fatigue in their legs compared to Arsenal. By the month of May, fresh legs are not just a bonus, they are a weapon. You could see it in extra time. Arsenal players were dropping deeper, reacting a half-second slower, picking up yellow cards and making desperate fouls just to survive. With Ousmane Dembele and Kvaratskhelia constantly stretching the Arsenal defense, the pressure eventually became too much. They dragged the fullbacks wide to create massive spaces. Arsenal spent the entire night reacting instead of acting. And when Mosquera made that clumsy foul in the box to give away a penalty in the 65th minute, it felt completely inevitable. Dembele stepped up, scored the penalty, and the dam finally broke. PSG never panicked when they were losing, but once they tied the game, Arsenal looked completely terrified of making a mistake. So let us look at the 5 biggest reasons Arsenal lost this final. Number 1, PSG controlled 75% possession and made Arsenal chase ghosts. Number 2, Vitinha completely dominated the midfield. Number 3, Luis Enrique won the tactical battle by staying one move ahead of Arteta. Number 4, Arsenal could not sustain any attacks, registering only 18 final third passes and 1 shot on target. And number 5, PSG had the experience and depth to stay calm when the pressure skyrocketed. Gabriel missing that final kick in the penalty shootout created the drama. It gave the media a sad headline about 20 years of European heartbreak, but Arsenal did not lose the trophy on penalties. They lost the game hours earlier when PSG took absolute control of the midfield, the ball, and the tempo. The scoreboard says penalties decided it, but the pure football performance says PSG won it. So I want to hear from you. Do you blame Mikel Arteta for playing too defensively after the early goal? Or was Paris Saint-Germain just simply too good on the night? Drop your brutal, honest tactical opinions in the comments below, because I read every single one of them. We are building a community of real football fans who love deep tactical truths, not just cheap headlines. So if you want more raw, unfiltered breakdowns like this one, make sure you hit that subscribe button right now. Until next time, keep watching the beautiful game.